Hello guys, and welcome to episode 3 of my Orsha campaign in Steel Division 2, playing on the Axis side. Today we are continuing after defending ourselves against the Soviet onslaught, and now it's our turn and we need to choose what we're going to be bringing in to reinforce, as well as moving up the reinforcements that are heading our way. So let's go through the tabs at the top to start off with and see what we can bring in. So this is the 256th Infantry Division. They can be reinforced on the top side here. I don't believe that we can use this point to reinforce at the moment due to them pushing in on that. So we'd have to bring in the reinforcements further back, but this would include Grenadiers, Grenführer and the MG08s. You can also get packs and IG-18s, and that's just 3 battalions of those. Later on it looks like we can just get more of them. It looks like this one has a different setup. It's got a couple of pack 40s. Then we have the reserve battalion, which has the FK288 as a pack 38. Not many of them at all, but a lot of Ersatztruppen. Also some AA in there, I think. Some flak 38s on trucks. After that, the Infantry Regiment. This is a little bit more elite. They have some veterancy. Nice, so that's much later on. June 25th in the morning. Then we have the 78th Sturm. This is our elite division in the center. We can bring in the Sturm Regiment 14 with the 14th Assault Regiment. And the battalions in those, they all have very elite troops. Sturmschützen, the Panzer, of course, the mortars, and the MG42s. They also come with the flak 38s, which is useful. So, really nice. Then after that, we have the Panzerjägerabteilung 519, which is the heavy tank destroyer battalion with the Nashorns. There's also the Stugs there, and they have, well, that's just loads of Stugs, yeah. After that, we have the AOK reserves, which is just many more Stugs, also some St-42s as well, and lots of looks. That's cool. It's quite an interesting one. Comes with a Pioneer battalion, as well as some extra Sturmschützen and some Pack 40s, also the LEFH-18s. Nice. These are some really good mixes. These divisions are fantastic. And then there's some more reserves. And then we have the Sicherungs. These are reserve troops, so they won't come in with any vehicles. They're just there to help us out if we get low on troops. Alright, then we have the 260th Infantry Division. These are down on the bottom side. Nothing too exciting here, just battalions with grenadiers. This last reserve division isn't too bad. Then we have the 25th Panzergren Division. They spawn in just here, near the center. This is actually quite nice. So we have the Panzerabteilung, which come in with the Stugs. And we can actually bring those in right there. And then there's also the Panzergren Regiment. And these have 12 anti-aircraft guns. So this is a really nice support division for if they attack us first in a particular area and we have that nearby, we should definitely use it, because it seems as though in the first battle that they do in their turn is the most likely time that they're going to use aircraft. So that's interesting. We should think about investing in those. Later on we have a recon battalion. There's also the Pioneer battalion there. These guys are standard Pioneers. And then another Panzergren division unit with the Ersatztruppen and the SDKZs. Right, heavy Panzer battalion. Oh, nice. Alright, we're going to be wanting to save for these bad boys, the good old Tigers. We can bring those in on the evening of the 24th. Okay. And then, of course, we have our aircraft. So the 2 front recon groups that we can bring in. And they only cost 5 points, actually. There's the 2nd Night Bomber group, which is Just a bunch of Ju-87s, and there's also some air recon for those. Then there's some more bombers here. These are HE-111s. So they have some pretty big payloads, actually. And does this one not have a payload? Just turrets? That can't be right. Oh well. Then we have the fighter wing. Oh, there is actually a fighter wing that we can bring in the evening of the 24th. ME-109s, all the good old ME-109s we need. That's really nice. Eventually we'll definitely buy those. Then there's the first close support wing, which has Focke-Wulf 190s. Lots of them with bombs. Okay, cool. So I've got to really work out what I want to bring in and do so. So I'm thinking probably the Stugs is a good idea. Here with the 25th Panzergren, we can get the 8th Panzer Battalion to spawn here. I think that's a good choice for starters. Just blocks off that reinforcement point and gets them into the battle. That's nice. So almost straight away they're on the front line, and we've been attacked here before, so no doubt we'll be attacked there again. Then in the center, I'm thinking of bringing in some more troops, or actually it may be a good idea to reinforce the top side. We can't bring them in here unfortunately, but we can bring them in further back, because this is looking pretty thin compared to everywhere else. On the bottom side it's not too bad because they aren't investing too many forces there, but on the top side this is looking quite concentrated in comparison. So I'm tempted to bring these guys in. I do have Upper Blitz, so yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend the points on the top side, we're going to move all of these fellas forwards. I didn't realise you can actually move multiple in one selection, that's really cool. And we're going to move forwards this unit as well to help reinforce if needs be. Leave them on one action point so they can reinforce next turn. We'll move up the rest of the security regiments to the front line, just to help us should they break through. Oh, we also have the heavy AA battalion. Moving this up and deploying them is not a bad idea at all, because it will cover our frontline forces against enemy aircraft. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this howitzer forwards maybe, unless I want to bombard these guys. They're actually out of range, so never mind. Is this one in range to attack those guys? No. I didn't mean to move them forwards, but that's okay. So we're going to move these up so they have one action point left, and then next time around we can set up the AA net. I'm not entirely sure how big it is, but I think it will cover most of these men, which would be really good. We can cover the main road. We do also have a mixed AA battalion at the back, and we'll probably bring that down to the bottom side, or we could bring it to the top side, but I think the bottom side is probably better. It does depend if we can have any more of these, which I don't think we can. I haven't seen any more mixed AA battalions. The 260th Infantry can bring in, I think, some decent AA eventually. Actually, no, I'm thinking of the wrong ones. Maybe it was the 25th Panzergren. Yeah, so the 25th Panzergren can get the SDK Z-10-4s. So maybe what I do with these ones is bring them right down to where the 260th ID is. We have the 213th Artillery Regiment, which we're going to send down, and the Security Battalion. I think I'm just going to move them up to here for now. Okay, these guys can move in on the bottom side. Great. So I've only got one slot for aircraft at the moment, or one like aircraft at the spawn. But I think that's okay, because next time we get another 15, we can probably invest that into at least the night bombers, I think. Although there isn't really much bang for your buck there. It may be best to just keep investing into ground troops and not using too many aircraft, like I did when I was playing on the Soviet side. These guys are all dug in, yeah, so that's all good. Do we need to make any more movement? These ones can't dig in, they're just support groups. Okay, I think our front line's pretty much set. I can dig in these fellas as well. I'm just curious if they can get past us here. I may just leave them as they are for now. Alright. Looks like we're moving on to the next line of attacks.
Battalion 189th is available with 78th Sturm Division.
Stoogie. Funny how they said that. Either way, on we go, and we're under attack. Okay. So, they're coming in hot. They all have 3 action points, which is interesting. I'm pretty sure they'd all used up their action points, but yeah, we are under attack. Lots and lots of infantry smashing into our lines here. So, I'm going to want to bring in some units in B and probably in C. So I'll probably bring in the artillery to back us up. I've just got to decide which one I want it to be. I think we're going to go for the 25th, and we'll bring in the 8th Panzer Battalion as well. We don't really have any air cover, which kind of sucks pretty badly. There's no AA here, I don't think. Actually, these guys have AA. Okay, we'll bring those in instead. Perfect. They also have some more IGs that we can use, as well as just pioneers and stuff. Then we'll have the 8th Panzer Battalion to support us in the late game. So this is going to be a little bit rough in the early game because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to cover the entirety of the line very well. But it depends also on what they decide to bring, if they decide to actually reinforce with these units nearby, or if they use aircraft. So let's jump into the tactical battle and see what they actually bring. So they are going infantry focus by the looks of things. They've got this unit, and this unit. This is a support unit that will likely have some mortars. I think they have mortars anyway, but yeah, that's all good. We'll just make sure everything comes into us throughout the phases. So no aircraft, which is nice, and we will be able to defend quite well on the ground. I just got to make sure that I space out my defenses properly, otherwise we will get overrun in certain areas. I hope the map's forgiving. It is not. Played on this one before, but either way, let's see what we can do with little points we have. I'm likely just going to focus on getting as many MG42s down as I can, and then we will have to use the bunkers to snipe the transports, because the MGs will be able to keep the enemies at range for a reasonable amount of time. The only trouble with using MGs is we won't be using trenches that much, and I guess actually maybe it'd be better to use like a mix of trenches and MGs at the start, because the trenches are really difficult for them to dislodge. Either way, I'll sort it out and I'll be back with you guys in a moment. Okay, so I'm finished with my deployment and I'll just take you through it quickly. So Panzergrens on the left side with some trenches here. I've also got an AT gun that can attack this road and this road. This is something I failed to do before, but I realized I could still potentially defend this flag from any attack from the left side if I put something there. So I've got some spare trenches around where my sets of Panzergrens are. I've got some Panzergrens here, MGs in the buildings. I've also got a couple bunkers up on this hill that can help defend all of these roads. And it's all about just sort of preventing them from coming down the roads in the first place. So that's where all of my AT guns are positioned toward. Again, lots more trenches spare so that I can put in both command units and more Panzergrens as we get them. More bunkers on the ridge. Lots of barbed wire in between all of the trenches just to funnel the enemy a little bit. And more trenches on this right side. Again, just Panzergrens. It's quite honestly really cool because it looks as though the defenders have been caught off guard, and so they still have like the trenches there and the defenses set up, but they're not fully manned, so all of the men are going to be rushing to the front in order to fill those trenches soon enough. But either way, let's launch the battle and see how we do. This bunker up on the hill you can see is covering there. We've got the MG bunker as well, Panzergrens, MG42s in the buildings. All of this MG cover is going to do a lot of damage at distance, and this Pak-37 already shooting at that car there. Now I do have a commandant up on the hill because I believe these two bunkers are probably the two of the most important that we're going to be using throughout the battle, so I wanted to make sure they had the veterancy from the get-go. I also would have liked to have had some veterancy here, but never mind. I couldn't afford it. So at the moment we're just kind of waiting. I'm just going to speed it up. As soon as we get points, we'll just bring in more Panzergrens and so on where we see them concentrated. I'll also want to try and counter battery, actually. That's a good point. We should be in range from here to use 81mm mortars, so I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring in 81mm mortars from the start, and we'll just get a couple of those down to help counter battery, because otherwise they're just going to smash our bunkers and we're going to lose a lot of ground very quickly. I could also just focus on getting the Panzer Grenadiers into position, because losing the bunkers isn't all that important as long as I have the Panzer Grenadiers there, because the Panzer Grenadiers are going to be hard to kill in these bunkers, or the trenches even. So maybe I shouldn't even bother investing into the mortar early on. I should just focus on getting the trenches full. Alright. So yeah, that Pak-37, as soon as it gets a couple direct hits, it's going to be neutralized by the 122mm, unfortunately. Looks like the first shot of the 37mm missed. We have forced them back for the time being. Alright. So yeah, we'll bring up 3 more there. Fill out the left side. The SG-43 in the open is doing a little bit of damage to the MG-42, but not too much to worry about. Just going to keep it sped up, I think. We'll just keep filling out the Panzergrens as we can. Have all those on shift unload orders. Looks like I'm going to need a mortar for the right hand side. I'm kind of committed to this mortar play, but I also kind of feel like it might be a waste of time. As long as I can pin their artillery, it's probably worth it. Be annoying if that artillery was still coming in when the Panzergrens arrive. Damn, you would not want to be those NKVD squads. They're getting hit by the MG42s from all the way over here as well. We can see that, so we'll just give a few orders to attack that. Hopefully we can hit it pretty hard. I should probably use an attack marker to mark the one on the right hand side as well. Oh, there is a mortar here. That's going to be quite frustrating. It may be worth dropping these guys into there, because it looks like they may get overrun sooner than later. Going to bring up a Panzergrenführer to help us out with that. I'm also going to bring up a couple of MGs for this ridge. I do actually have another trench up here next to this AT gun that I can use as well. Okay, it may not be worth trying to push them out. We'll just use them on the edge of the tree line, because there is a lot of guys there. If we can make these guys fall back though, that's all well and good. Looks like they are counter-battering our mortar, and quite well. Ouch. Maybe worth unloading the mortar we brought in early. Did I bring in? Yeah, I did. Let's use my mortar on their troops there. This Panzergren's actually taken a surprising amount of damage. And the other thing that I have sat around is these gun pits to use for IGs. So we're going to have to make use of those. Right, this front's fine. Looks like that one's holding well. It's just this was a little bit risky. Just gonna get my mortar to do what it can. Right, since they're already pinned down, I may as well just have them crawl to the trenches at this point. Get them into cover there. Not sure if that works while they're pinned down. Oh yeah, it does, nice. Okay, cool. Perfect. Give them that veterancy. This MG's almost out of ammunition. I think I'm just going to unload this one here. It was supposed to go up on the hill, but I would prefer it had the veterancy from the Panzergrenführer. Keep bringing in more troops just to fill out the rest. Okay, good. Now, my mortar's dead. Long gone on the left-hand side. Mortar on the right-hand side also being counter-batteried. Right, let's get the Panzergrenführer on that side. The other thing I do need to do is make sure these are all unloading once they get to positions. Okay, good. Can we not shoot this SG? No, it's just out of line of sight. That's unfortunate. Well, if anything, my mortars were a distraction for their artillery. Gotta be careful, this might get killed. I'm just gonna get them to run to that building there. Although it does look like the SG is gonna do a lot of damage. Alright, we'll just go up the hill then. Get away from that line of sight. Okay, we're into phase B. That means I can bring in my IGs, so we'll bring in an IG here. I'm also going to bring in an IG on the hill here. We can get a couple on the ridge. And they'll probably get mortared or artied, but nothing much I can do about that. Except from, potentially I could use a battery of 120mm mortars. Maybe we could do that. That might be worth trying, just to start pinning and killing off some of these artillery pieces we're up against. A lot of troops coming in on the right hand side. Looks like we did this just in time. I could also use that on the hill there. We'll bring an IG up onto that. Right, we're a bit short of getting the command across, so I think I'm going to bring in a command here, or the leader here, that can connect this Panzergrenführer. Then if I do that the whole way across, we can potentially connect everything. Although I could just bring in another commander for the right hand side, I think. Yeah, we got 2 commandants here. Let's just do that. And I'll bring in the Pioneer Führer for the rear. Let's put these all on return fire. We don't want our leader units to reveal themselves. Oh, we did lose the unit on the left hand side. They're coming in pretty hot there. That's not too good. Alright. I'm probably going to have to invest in another machine gun and a couple more Panzergrens to protect us against that. I'll also bring in a leader. And if I've got another IG left, then we can bring in that. Or, actually, I guess I could use these. I think they can attack infantry at like 1,000 meter range, so they won't be too bad for covering the open. This is a little bit more intense because our setup isn't here from the start. I was expecting that they would bring in aircraft, and they didn't. So I don't have any artillery because I brought in a division that uses anti-air. So I've kind of put myself in a pretty bad spot, honestly, but should be okay. As long as I can start dealing with these artillery pieces, we should be alright. This Pak 37 is going to surrender soon, I think. We do, of course, have the Stugs coming in. More importantly, we can get Sturs from those as well, which is cool. They're really good at killing infantry from range, also relatively resistant to artillery. How are we doing on that? We are pinning it down, but we didn't hit a single shot on target. That's unfortunate. I'm just going to let these fire and then I'm going to re-give them the order because I messed up with the move order. Wow. That IG on the ridge there got wrecked. They've got some OBs going. They're certainly very concentrated. Yeah, maybe I'm going to be forced to actually bring in more forces here. I thought we'd get away with bringing in what I brought in already, but this is looking pretty precarious on this right hand side. Hopefully my mortars help us out a little bit there. Get these Panzergrens into position. They can start firing away as well. We got 3-star MGs now, so that should start doing a serious amount of damage. I can also move up these. What's the range on them? Yeah, it's a 1,000 meter range, so that's good. Start hammering him. They might die actually to the SG-43s, but we'll pin them down pretty quickly and hopefully they'll target them first. We can always make them manually target if we have to. I could do with a couple more machine guns on this right hand side, really. We get them into the town. I think I'll bring in my other commandant to the town as well. One of my bunkers is gone. Alright, that's the one on the left hand side. We've got 4 minutes left until phase C, then we can bring in lots of Stugs. Okay, good. Yeah, the SDKFZs, we're actually probably going to have to move them after using them because of the artillery. Annoyingly. I'm actually out of ammunition. Okay, we're going to have to rectify that sooner than later. Right, since it's relatively quiet over here, we can, I think, move out all of these lot. We'll give it a go. Do I have any more leader units, though? Don't think I do, because I think I'd rather keep the veterancy on these MGs than on the Panzergrens. I think that makes more sense. And what did that just get killed by? I don't even know. I guess we'll fall back for now. Looks like artillery. I guess it could have been actually an infantry gun if they have one on that side. But so far so good. We're still going to cause them a major defeat. I can of course use the Pack 40s as ranged units. I didn't really count on those infantry guns. They kind of messed me up on this side pretty bad. Okay, the MGs are doing work there. That's nice. I am tempted at the moment to bring in my SDKFZ 10-4s. Because I could bring them in like behind here and then move them to the right hand side. The only issue is I don't actually want to lose too many of them, because in the future I'm going to need them to actually deal with aircraft. At least that's the thought. It might be worth me just moving this MG across. Having the Panzergren move away, but I don't want to do it before we pin down that Saperdi, because I don't want them to, of course, get rid of the MG42. They could surrender that very easily right now. I might just be able to have them in the compound. I wonder if that'll work. If I move back a little bit, turn off auto cover. Yeah, they'll sit in the garden and fire away, and they'll still have the cover. Nice. And now we've got ammo on our mortars, we can probably do more concentrated strikes. I'm just setting them to do 2 volleys on each artillery piece. This isn't even in the gun pit. The one on the hill is just straight up dead. Maybe that's what happened on the right hand side. The IG didn't actually go in the gun pit, so it didn't have the protection of the gun pit. Right, anyway, we're into phase C. Let's go ahead and bring the Sturs in. Do 42s. Get those assault guns working. Honestly, we can probably push them back pretty far with these. I don't need to bring in the SDKFZ 7-1s. I think we can do without them. We are taking a little bit of counter battery, that's not good. But we are giving back a little bit now. We can't really push onto the 122 mils, I don't think. Yeah, we've lost all our IGs. Yeah. I really was hoping we'd get more value out of them, but due to the amount of artillery they have, it's not working out too well. My 10-4's being artied. That's annoying. I have to make sure we grab them as soon as they finish falling back. At least in the next couple turns, these Stugs will pretty much always be available at the front line from the start, so we can use Stugs and Sturs instead of IGs. Lost an MG on the left side there. Church got destroyed. I think a cool addition to this campaign mode would be if the destruction of towns persisted between battles. So if you're being attacked on the same map multiple times in a row, the destruction of buildings and so on persists. I think that'd be really, really cool. And all of the craters kind of stick around. Like, obviously that would be very impractical for the way the game works, but it would be a cool feature if they could implement it somehow. Honestly, I can just bring in like so many Stugs right now. We could just end this so quickly. Let's just speed it up. It's going to end soon anyway. There's only 3 minutes and 50 seconds left. My Sturs have already got to the front line. You can see them obliterating those units on the right hand side. This is actually 3 regiments we're up against, isn't it? So we're probably doing a ton of damage in this battle to multiple like regiments and battalions. So I do have to be a little bit worried about the OB. Oh no, my IG died. Oh, that's annoying. But we'd almost got away with it. All of the Panzer guns in these bunkers are dead. That doesn't bode well for future battles. We've lost actually quite a lot of our Panzer guns, I think. I guess I can always use the Spätrupp. They also have machine guns. We can always play more conservatively as well. I do have some very open trenches here, which is why we've taken so much damage from things like infantry guns. But at the same time, we've also managed to hold them back, and they're going to get a major defeat, so can't really complain. Wait, did I lose a Stug? Oh, yeah, looks like I did. Oops. That would be these AT guns. Because there's two there. I might as well just try and go for some lucky shots at the end onto their artillery. I got a lot of artillery. Yeah, maybe pushing into them isn't so easy because these F-22s, they have 105mm penetration. Yeah, I think I lost a Stür on the right hand side as well. Looks like they brought in like loads of AT guns behind their line. Well, we're going to kill that one hopefully. But pushing forwards with the rest is pretty futile. Wow, what a battle. That was actually quite something. I really enjoyed that one. 29 minutes and 10 seconds. That was a lot of fun. 129 kills, 41 losses. I would have liked to have zoomed in more and got some more cinematic shots, but I had to kind of concentrate a little bit more on where the enemies were coming in properly. The IG-33 did actually do relatively well for us, which is nice. This one did okay as well. So the IG-33s, I would say, paid themselves off. The IG-18s, however, did not, unfortunately. They just got hit by artillery very quickly. So a lot of our losses will probably come to infantry guns and, yeah, artillery. All these F-22s. There's also a couple of Stug kills and Stug kills in there as well. Overall, I don't think we did too badly. A little bit of a rough ride, but still a resounding victory. They're of course not going to have as many troops to work with the next time they attack as well, so I think we're still in a relatively decent position. I've actually routed all of those units. Wow. Okay, so that actually might be worth attacking into to try and destroy them. This is definitely going to be a tough one, that's for sure. Do I even have much to reinforce? We have the Tank Destroyer Battalion. And we have the 256th Artillery Regiment, which really doesn't have many guns left. I'm not sure if it starts with only 6 guns, but it's not very many. We're likely going to get hit by both of these, maybe. Maybe we'll get hit by aircraft as well. I might bring in my own aircraft. I think we kind of have to. Yeah, so probably bring in the tank destroyers. We do actually get some Flak 38s and Flak Flings. That'd be decent in the late game, and then we'll bring in the close support wing. But, guys, unfortunately, it has been my time, so I'm going to leave it here. In the next episode, we'll play out this attack. The last battle took a little bit longer than I expected. I hope to kind of speed it up a little bit, but yeah, because it took a bit longer, unfortunately, we can't play this one out in this episode. But you have it to look forward to in the next one, which should be a lot of fun. Either way, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in that next episode. Goodbye.